Okay, this is Monsterhearts Camp Mercy Falls, session 1 of 2. This is a pretty tight, focused story of Monster Hearts. Let me do cats real fast. So I know you guys know this already, but just to kind of do our due diligence here. Concept behind Monster Hearts is it is a teen supernatural drama game. The characters are, they play, um, the characters are teenagers. They're in high school, but they are also possibly, sometimes they're not, they are also monsters. And their monstrousness is kind of a metaphor for the teenage experience, lack of, you know, lack of control over their bodies and how their bodies are changing, emotional impulses, that kind of thing, right? It's a game that is very explicit about exploring sexuality between the characters, particularly queer sexuality. That comes up a lot. And this mostly comes up a lot in the context of the turn someone on move will happen and you have no mechanical control over it, right? Like if you are turned on, you are turned on, and that's just the way it is. There's a bunch of other stuff about the game I'm not going to go into because I know you guys are pretty familiar with it. But in any case, Mercy Falls is an ongoing campaign that you may or may not be familiar with. You don't need to know anything about Mercy Falls to play this. There's no knowledge of it required. It is a town in the Pacific Northwest. It is principally a logging and lumber town. It has a tourist season as well. And you guys are going to be kind of like that the story's going to be taking place during that season or kind of right before that season a little bit. It has a tourist season. But it's principally a lumber town. Um, there's basically just a main drag through the town, and then there are people live like in just little clusters of houses and cul-de-sacs and things like in the hills and stuff right near that main strip. It looks very much aesthetically like Twin Peaks. It's in fact directly modeled after the town of Twin Peaks on that TV show. So that's Mercy Falls as a setting. You guys are going to be playing camp counselors, getting Camp Mercy Falls ready for the new season. We're not going to see when the season starts, but basically when the season starts, it's going to be like, grade school and middle school kids, like, coming to have summer camp or whatever, right? Camp Mercy Falls will be a little bit, it'll be like a few miles away from the main town, right? And you have to walk a little bit from your car to get down to the camp part. So you guys are going to be kind of isolated and kind of stuck, right? It'll at least take a little bit of effort to like get to civilization, right? And of course, conveniently, cell phones won't work very well either at Camp Mercy Falls. So isolation is kind of our one of our themes here for this. Okay. Now, in terms of our aims for today, we're going to introduce characters. We're going to do backstory. We're going to set up our camp counselor cabins, which is our NPC process for this one, and then we're going to do a round of vignettes where we see your characters at home briefly, and that should comprise everything before the first break. After the break, we'll continue scenes as normal. And in this way I run Monster Hearts, and I think it's the way it's supposed to be run as well, I will more often than not, defer to you guys to frame your own scenes. Okay. I anticipate you guys framing your own scenes and doing the game you want to do. I will interject as the 6 minuses and other opportunities present themselves. Okay. That's mostly how it's going to go, though. Tone wise, I think we should maintain a pretty, kind of like dark tone. I think if you're like, I'm being somewhat heavy-handed with the Friday the 13th illusions here, right? That kind of tone, like the beginning part of a Friday the 13th movie, right? Like where you guys are maybe joking and giving each other a hard time about stuff or whatever, but there's an undercurrent of darkness, a throbbing sense of things getting bad, right? That's the way it should go. Subject matter wise, these characters fuck, and you should them to fuck because that's the thing that happens. there is going to be a lot of like uncomfortable, weird, gross stuff that happens from time to time because it's Monsterhearts. If you're if you're uncomfortable in an unfun way at any time, feel free to throw the X card. That's no problem at all. Is there any content or subject matter you guys would prefer to avoid entirely? I'm a big one of I prefer no sexual assault. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the threat of sexual violence, and I'm okay with talking about sexual violence as a thing that happened, but I don't like to do it on screen. Yeah.
I just generally have issues with like horrific violence being done to animals on screen and descriptively. And there's a sliding scale of like cute bunny animals to monsters. It's more okay to beat up monsters, sort of thing. And
Sure.
and there's a certain amount of like finding the evidence of, or just saying that it happened, that I'm okay with happening. But
Cool.
the gorier it gets, the worse I get. Oh,
Yeah,
and you can do anything to people.
That's good. Priorities, right? No, that's good. Awesome. Okay. Well, in that case, I think we should go ahead and just introduce our characters, get them out on the table. Let's talk about just basically. Mostly want to know your look, your kind of your origin story, and whatever move you chose at the beginning. That would be nice as well. Let's just begin with Patrick. Please tell us about Jay.
All right, so Jay, I'm playing the Cuckoo playbook, which is all about dressing up as other people, passing as other people, in a semi supernatural sort of way. His look is very flashy, very sort of like dead eyes. He does a fashion blog where he does sort of out there sort of androgynous style things on a daily basis. He has a tendency to wear a little bit of makeup or like come in heels every now and then. And he's generally just sort of over things, I think. The origin that I chose because I thought it was funny is left in a basket, which I think he very literally was left in a basket, like inside his parents' house in his sister's room one night. And his parents, I don't know, it's Mercy Falls. I think things just sort of happen. They sort of assumed responsibility, and at some point someone took care of like adoption paperwork, and then it was just a thing.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah, go for
Can I suggest that, like, because you're a cuckoo, you just replace the sister,
it.
and
All right.
maybe your parents even treat you like her, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you're open to that, but I like that idea personally. I just think
No,
it's like just feels it's like it's just like one step creepier. I'll always push it in a slightly creepier direction, right?
no, that's neat. And as far as like character sort of life path touchstone, I'm going for like very early drag queen sort of idea.
No, I like it. Yeah, no, I like this. I mean, you know, uh, I know this person, right? I know this like very like this very like femme guy, who nowadays has a YouTube channel, right?
Hmm.
Where he
Hmm.
where he does makeup tips and stuff. Like I know this guy. Um, I think that's fabulous. As far as your origin goes, I do love the idea of like your parents, just because of like the nature of your basic magic, believe you to be their daughter. Maybe they know you're their son, but they like are kind of like also you satisfy like the place of their daughter in some way. I like the
I'm
idea of
into that.
the sister not even being in the picture, right? Like
Okay.
just something happened to the sister, and maybe we don't know that for a while, but what that was. But I think that really like I think that sharpens it up really nicely. So fabulous. What move have you chosen? Do you even get to choose a move? I can't remember how the cuckoo goes.
I do. I get my basic ones of being able to pass as other people and what happens if someone is suspicious of that. But the one I chose was a natural. While
Hmm.
you're passing as someone, you can spend a string on them to ask a question like, "What would you say right now? What would you do right now? Or how do you feel about the person in front of me?"
Nice. Okay, cool. I love it. Fantastic. I don't think I have any questions. If anybody else does, jump in there, but that seems like a really good start for Jay. I'm just going in the order of the sheet. Kevin, please tell us about Morgan.
All right, I'm playing Morgan the Ghoul. She has a gaunt look with hungry eyes. Her origin is resurrected. And so I'm toying with two ideas here, Jason. She was either hit by a bitching Camaro one evening, and we know who would have been driving that bitching Camaro, or otherwise she got torn. All right, so she got hit by a bitching Camaro. We can figure out later if someone saw that and then she came back from that. She doesn't know why she keeps coming back from the dead because she has that short rest for the wicked move. Uh, and since that has happened, she's turned into a total thrill and danger seeker because she knows she's not invulnerable because she can die and hurt a lot while it's happening. But then she comes back. And I'm kind of seeing her pushing that envelope all the time of, what's the point of anything if I'm always going to come back? Sure, what the reason is for her coming back. That's
I love
something.
it. Yeah, I think that's fabulous. So you have short rest for the wicked, and your hunger is for thrills.
Yep. And then I also took ending as my other move, where I can remember being hit by that car and feeling all my bones get pulverized and fading away. And then I get to give people the condition morbid and roll to turn them on if I share that story with them.
That sounds like I'm imagining that scene already in this setup, like where you guys are like, sitting around a campfire or whatever,
Yep.
right? And you're telling the story, right? Um, do you think, I mean, just to kind of give it some shape a little bit, do you think the reason why you might be coming back is like for revenge? Is this like a revenant situation, or is it something else? Or is it just like it's just not your time and the universe wants you around?
Ooh. I was toying with a couple ideas. I don't think it's going to be the revenant thing.
Okay.
Although she can be cruel, but it's mostly because she doesn't see consequences anymore is the reason for that. I think I like the idea that it's just not her time. So actually, her time may actually come up at some point, and she's oblivious to the fact that that's out there, or at least she is right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So there maybe is a countdown timer running somewhere.
I love it. That's great. We'll figure it out and play, but I just want to kind of
Yeah.
read on that a little bit. Fantastic. I guess my last question is more of a logistical one. Is
Hmm.
like, do you still have parents who believe you're alive, or like do you still otherwise function as a teenager in all the ways that we would
Yep.
expect you to?
Perfectly normal, happy home.
Mm,
Other than like, I see her parents as being a bit controlling, like, you know, remind me, I'm imagining them to be like my ex's parents, where it's like, oh, you shouldn't eat so much. They lock up the food and stuff like that.
mm,
And so they're controlling in that way.
mm.
But they love her, and she's the only kid. So she, in some ways, feels she's too much the focus of it. Maybe that's one of the reasons she wants to be at the camp also, is it's away from them and their control for a while, and she can be trying to run her own life for a bit
I like it.
and
Cool.
control little children.
Awesome. What is best in life? All right. Good. Fantastic. And let's just go ahead to Brennan. Michael, please tell us about Brennan.
Yeah, so Brennan moved to Mercy Falls recently from, I'm thinking Iowa. He's got like a really country aesthetic, like way more cowboy boots than are necessary. Even though he's actually from like suburban Des Moines. And he's like a little bit out of place because he's like, most people in Mercy Falls, or at least the other high schoolers, probably lean a bit more hip than he is. I think that he can get away with it because he's cute. I guess the big question with Brennan right now would be, who the lover is going to be. Right now, I was leaning towards Morgan. I think maybe we've been screwing around and like I've caught feelings. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I am totally cool with that.
Awesome. We'll sort that out during backstory, but that's a good, yeah, I'm into that. What are your other moves that you have right now?
So I picked down the rabbit hole. When you poke your nose in affairs not meant for your kind, someone involved gets a string and you mark experience, and I've got downward spiral for gazing into the abyss.
You can cause yourself harm, and if you do, you add 2 to your roll. That's good. Love that. Fantastic. So
actually, I'm tempted to swap that out for sympathy as my weapon. I kind of wanted to see what the characters look like, but I think I'm going to swap that second one out for sympathy as my weapon.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. I like that. So country boy kind of like just moved to town. It seems totally natural that you get involved in a camp counselor program, right? That like seems like completely your character's jam, right? I'm super curious like why Jay is involved in the camp counselor program, but I don't know if you have any thoughts there or not, Patrick. But.
I had been thinking about that because it's a little off, but I think as you were talking about like my parents and me sort of fulfilling the role of their daughter, I think like publicly and in day-to-day life, like you said, they know I'm not a girl. It's not like after a certain age they put me out as a girl or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this summer camp, I think they were involved in like counseling for it when I was a kid, and it's this sort of removed place. It was this place where for a couple weeks every summer, like they could enroll me as Sharon, their daughter, and I could go and I could be completely a girl in front of them, and they could sort of have that fantasy experience.
Do you I'll let you kind of like, I think this will be fun to play with just like as we play, but like do you think the other player characters will perceive you as Jay or as Karen or or will it bounce back and forth? Like how do you think that's going to go?
I think like it's been a couple of years since I've been to the camp. It took them a while to convince me to go back, maybe after like beginning of middle school, and I'm very, very ostentatiously coming back as Jay, not Karen. But I think any of them that had been there for had been regulars, campers at the camp, have been in Mercy Falls for a while, will have that sort of history of like every summer he came as a girl.
Nice, that's good.
So I do have a question though for you, Patrick. So does Jay prefer he, him, or
that's a good question.
they, them?
Generally speaking, he'll lean towards he, him, but I think it's sort of as a matter of presentation. Like if it's ambiguous, it's probably he, him. If it's very clearly female, like she'll go for she.
Good. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and just do backstory then. I need to pull up the documents because I don't have them ready. But I do think that we should do that though. So 1 second. At here. I don't know what's happened to my Mercy Falls stuff or my Monsterhearts 2 stuff. Crud. I'll just pull it up here. Okie doke. So let's see here. So we've got some from the second skins, right? That's the cuckoo. And then we have the core ones. I added an image board as well to the folder if you guys want to throw pictures on there for any particular reason. Let's just start with Jay. So Jay, please do your backstory.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the second one there. Someone gave you an outfit so that you could impersonate them. Which I think was maybe Morgan. Kevin, you had talked about like just caring less and less about the daily things, and I think maybe just for like skipping school purposes or just sometimes not wanting to do the boring things in your life, you talked me into going as you sometimes. So I have I think I have an outfit of yours. Yeah, I have an outfit, and we gain a string on each other.
Okay.
So that was on Morgan.
Yes.
I like it. So like you sometimes go to school as Morgan, and so that means Morgan, you must know to some extent like what Jay's powers are, right?
Yeah, I know somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've actually seen, and I don't know if you're imitating someone, Jay. Does the person you're imitating see themselves, or do they see you and everyone reacting to you as if you're the person you're imitating?
That's sort of interesting. I hadn't thought about it from the perspective of the person that I'm imitating.
Because I'll just throw out there that Morgan would think that's crazy cool that if you actually look just like her, that she could be with herself. But however you see hooks for playing things out, I'm curious.
I'm down with that. Yeah, let's. So like a full physical thing, and the way I'd sort of imagine it if it showed on screen is it's sort of like it's Jay putting on another person's outfit. It's Jay doing his makeup, sort of like Morgan would, and then there's like a bend down to put on the wig moment, and when he stands back up, it's the other actress. Yes, very much.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. I love that. That's pretty good. Okay, go ahead and finish up there, Jay.
Sorry. Then my other one was you've stolen an outfit from someone and gain a string on them, and I think that'll be Brennan. He's cute. He's new for one. Like he's never been to camp. It's sort of a like, oh, this fell out of your bag, and maybe I won't quite give it back because that does smell interesting. But it's also a sort of like it's a sort of drag alternate life fantasy as well. Like Brennan is so very butch and a jock, and like this is how no one has ever treated me before. It would be a sort of a power fantasy in a different way.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love this character and they're like how they just like it's all about like just experiencing like these power fantasies. Like that's really great. Fantastic. I guess I'd want to know what you stole because you should probably write down the specific thing you stole, right?
For Brennan, I don't know. It seems like sort of maybe a hoodie, like an old one that's worn in, sort of thing.
Yeah, I can get it. Yeah.
Maybe to your old high school.
Yeah.
Like a team or something. And then Morgan, I don't know. How does Morgan generally dress?
I think she's generally wearing pretty form-fitting clothes and layers to emphasize how thin and lean she is, because I want that really hungry look to her. So, it's probably like a lot of black. I think kind of goth-like, and then with probably a flannel shirt thrown over that for when it's cooler.
Nice. So yeah, I think it's that sort of like the tights and a slip dress and a flannel, and then like the blonde wig to sort of cap it off there.
Nice. Cool. Kevin, you might want to lower your bandwidth just a smidge because you're just a little syrupy in your audio, like not quite roboting, but like definitely kind of lagging a little bit. Fantastic. Morgan, let's do your backstory.
Someone reminded you what love was when you thought that death had stolen it away from you forever. Give them a string.
What is love?
Let's see. Not sure where I want to go with this. What I want it to be compelling. I think I'm gonna have that be Jay, just because the thing that Morgan, since she knows that Jay can take in other people, she knows that underneath it all, there's that real person that's always there. And with other people, they put their faces on and stuff, whatever at school, and interacting with other people, and she doesn't know what's really under there.
Yeah. Interesting. What's your other one?
Let's see.
And then what happened? Does Morgan
Let's see.
who gets a string there? How does
Yep.
that work?
Yep. Jay gets a string on me.
Okay. Cool.
And then, did anyone watch you die? If so, you gain 2 strings on each other. And I think that would be a great way for Brennan to have come into town and that first week to have seen,
Welcome to Mercy Falls. Here's a hit and run.
Yep, you hear like poison or whatever blurring out the windows of the marrow, and it clips her at a corner, and you saw her go down, and you saw obviously broken limbs and stuff. And a short while later, you see everything like kind of straighten out and snap up, and her stand up and walk off.
Well, did I see like the first part of it then, but not probably not where you like hours later like got back up or what?
Well, we'll say in this one that she came back up. It was like the first time, and she came back up right away. And now it takes longer.
Yeah, I probably like think that was like some fucked up dream that I had. Like I think that like I must have been like I don't know. I think that like somebody probably like dosed me or something, because like that can't have happened.
Yep.
I love it. That's fantastic. Is this why you are like, I guess like you've chosen, well, it sounds like you're going to choose Morgan as your true love. Like, is this presently like unidirectional or what? Like, or did you guys like start having a thing because of this shared experience?
I don't know if it was like because of that, because that would have probably been like a few months ago.
Yeah.
I think that now that we've been at camp, I think that it's a pretty recent like hookup thing that we've got going on. I think that that's somewhere in like the back of my head, though. I still think that was just like a weird dream or something. I don't know what like with Morgan like saw me see her, knows that I was there, or what her impression is. And maybe that's part of the what makes her interested in it. I don't know.
Okay, good. So like you actually don't believe you saw what you saw. I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's great. Good. Awesome. Well, Brennan, let's do your backstory.
Oh yeah. So choose one person to be your lover, give them 3 strings on you, and take 1 string on them.
Does that mean Morgan has 5 strings on you now?
Ooh, I should have taken the entrenched one. I'm gonna stick with what I've got on here, but yeah, I think she does. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. You're close to being a darkest power, Morgan. you're achieving darkest power levels of control here. Good. What is it about Morgan that appeals to you?
I think that when I moved here, like she was one of the first people who would be like, willing to like hang out with me and like talk with me. I think that, I think that at first I felt, I've said that I felt kind of out of place here, but like she's actually been, pretty, I think that maybe she was partly hanging out with me to begin with because she wanted to know more about what had happened like with her. I think that she may have realized after like a week or 2 that I didn't know anything or that much about it. Yeah, because of that, because she was like curious about that, she was like probably the first person here who like, started, hanging out with me. And then now we're at camp together. We're both horny teens.
Good. Morgan, what's your feeling? Your feeling about Brennan?
I think it might be kind of like it's more of an infatuation than like that true passionate, my one true love thing. So she's not just toying with Brennan, but I think the feels just aren't quite as deep.
Mm.
And if she starts, one of the things I kind of maybe would like to have the opportunity to get towards is I don't know how clinging Brennan might turn out to be. Men need so much maintenance. Is having Jay impersonate me and be with Brennan so I can get away.
Yeah, I want to see that at some point.
So that sets up all sorts of great soap opera dynamics.
Awesome. Good. Okay, fabulous. Well, any other backstory questions, Brennan?
No.
Oh, that's
No.
it. Okay. All right. In that case, let's turn to if you go to the tab on the sheet that says cabins, just go there. We have cabins 1 through 6. These are the cabins that you will be staying in both during the weekend you're setting up camp as well as during the summer that you're working at the camp, like whenever you're there staying the night or whatever. These are like the camp counselor cabins, so they are 2 to a room, luxurious, right? The actual like campers have to sleep in dorms, with tons of beds. 2 to a room, you will choose which cabin you're going to be in. You're going to name an NPC. We'll talk about the NPC for a little while, ask some questions about the NPC. You should pose your question. You should have an NPC and then a question you pose to another player character about that NPC. I will then usually do 1 or 2 follow-up questions to help tie them in even tighter than what they are. Once we're done discussing the NPC, I will decide which cabin they go to, whether they are bunking with one of you or whether they are in their own cabin. When it's your turn to go and pick a cabin, you may choose to be in a cabin with someone who's already in a cabin, or you can choose to have your own cabin. It's up to you. But in terms of order of priority here, I think the person who would be down there to get their cabin first is probably the person who would arrive first, which is probably Brennan. So
I've got, just for reference, I do have like a red pickup truck. You're welcome if I go to it to have it just not turn on.
That is my plan. Yeah. I'm keeping the cars like basically you guys are a few miles away from the town. The cars are at least a good 1/8 to a 1/4 of a mile walk away, like from where you park them to like where the campsite is. And so, yeah, like I'm definitely like teasing you, like just teasing out the
I've got
space.
to pick up more for aesthetic reasons.
I'm here for it. Brennan, you are there. I think we'll say that you arrived first, therefore you get first pick of cabins. Where would you like to go? Just put your name on one of those orange spots.
I'm gonna pick cabin 6 back here.
And who is your NPC?
My NPC is Alex, kind of like a nerdy guy. He doesn't really like me, and what's kind of weird about our dynamic is that he's got more like social status than I do because I'm new in town. So he's kind of been like out to get me for a while. I think my question would be posed towards Jay. That'd be like, what do you know about Alex that he doesn't want other people to know about? Or vice versa. He could know something about you as well. I could turn that one around.
I think it's probably a both ways thing. I think, like, is he or she?
He,
yeah. I think he's a little bit cute in a sort of inoffensive, nerdy way, and he's so like far down on the social pecking order. It was a safe way to test out like dating while passing sort of thing, and it ended badly. Like he saw through it in the end. He was not cool with that, and it's sort of we're both embarrassed by the situation. Like I don't really want it known that I went on a date with him. He doesn't really want it known that he went on a date with me, sort of thing.
Okay.
I like that. So I'm going to put on the notes for myself. Nerdy guy. We're saying he is popular in school or he's not.
No, that's what I was saying.
I see him like kind of like in the middle. Like I don't know. I don't think he's like completely like he's not like an outcast.
Okay, all right. So he's like just enough like to be, like maybe
just enough to be an asshole to me.
Right, just to be an asshole to you, just enough to be desirable to Jay. But yeah. So I want to pull this. I want to poke a little bit more here because
he's probably in the debate club.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, he's like smart, like
yeah,
Ivy League bound nerdy. Okay, that's good. Yeah,
nice.
Had a thing with Jay. Jay, were you passing as someone else at that time, or did he just, or what was the deal there?
I was passing as a girl. I think just sort of like I think it was just as Karen, not as a particular other student. Just like me as a girl and feeling that out, and
yeah,
I don't know, it went weird.
He eventually realized it was a boy, and so like he's reacted badly because of like gay panic, or is there some other reason?
I think it was I don't know. I don't think it was exactly gay panic. I mean, I think there was probably like some questioning of sexuality going on there, but I think it was more the like, who the hell is this? Was this a prank? Who have I? Like that suddenly that you're dating someone, or you've been on a date with someone who wasn't who they said they were.
Surprised and confused.
Yeah, like it's sort of trying to figure out if any of this was real, if this whole thing was just like a setup to make fun of him, or what the hell this is, mixed with some like I've never kissed a boy before sort of feelings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. So I guess my other question for you so I understand Alex's position in this. I understand Alex's position in this because whether you meant to or not, you essentially like I mean, in some schools of thought, you raped him, right? Like in terms of like if you guys had sex, right? I think it was probably more of in my imaginings, I imagine that Jay is probably in this weird space where he kind of considers himself like maybe he's not trying to be duplicitous sometimes, right? Like it's just Karen is just a thing that happens, and all of that confusion that happens. But in any case, it's a terrific metaphor for like questioning one's sexuality and like kind of and dashing people's expectations and whatnot, right? That's good. I guess what I want to know from you is what was it about Alex that makes you so like repulsed about what happened, right? Like, I mean, it's got to be more than just like, oh, he's he's a nerd or whatever. Like, is there something about like his behavior that made you like realize this was a bad idea? You shouldn't have done it.
I think maybe part of it is like maybe Jay did interpret a lot of that reaction as like gay panic sort of thing. And I don't know. I think I think what it is like immediately afterwards, he like went after some girl that he'd had a crush on for forever, like sort of overcorrected into an ostentatious relationship, and the whole thing I just took as a further slap in the face of like,
Got it.
oh no, not what I want. I want this. Like very clearly, I want this.
That's good. So basically, you kind of thought that like that maybe Alex was accepting you for who you are to some degree, and it turns out he was not. So okay, good. All right, that's pretty good. That sounds like that's a pretty classic life situation, right? So
yeah,
that's good. Well, in that case, let me just finish my notes, and then I will. I'm gonna put this character Alex. These can be co-ed cabins, by the way. I'm gonna put Alex. Do I want to put him with Brennan? No, I don't think so. I'm gonna put Alex over here. Cabin 4. All right. Awesome. Okie doke. Morrigan, choose your cabin. You can be in a cabin that someone else is already in.
I'm going to go in cabin 6.
Okay, seems like a good move.
That may have started through sheer proximity.
Yep.
We just got like
it goes. Yep.
That's how
and
it
that
goes
induces more pressure too. Time together. It's pretty easy to start seeing faults.
Yeah, I mean, like I couldn't even jack off in there. Like, what was I gonna do?
Fantastic. What's your NPC?
Tashelle.
How do you spell
And
that?
I dragged a photo over onto the cabin spreadsheet for her.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And she's a conspiracy theorist nut job, kind of.
Okay.
And so she believes, I mean, and it's really not that weird when you think about you live in Mercy Falls and weird stuff happens and most
magnet for conspiracy theories.
adults are like, and the adults are like, everything's cool, everything's fine.
Yeah, that's the thing
like,
to know about Mercy Falls is the adults are like totally duped about all the shit that's going on. Like they're just completely wool over their eyes, right? They're willfully blind to Mercy Falls,
or willfully covering it up.
That too. Yeah, there's a few adults that do that as well. Yeah. And yeah, that's great. No, it makes total sense. Well, so awesome. What is she? Well, okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so she's a conspiracy nut and into mysteries. So she's always looking for trouble, always. So she's like really snoopy. And so it wouldn't be a big surprise at all for her to be going through people's things and looking at them, and for her to have all sorts of like, oh, I bet one of these people is a pod person or aliens or whatever. She's kind of nutty, goofy, so she can be comedy relief, and she can also be really annoying, snoop and gossip about, because she's always going on and on about stuff too. I picture her as one of those people just sits down next to anyone, starts talking about the aliens, and pulls out her aluminum foil cap or whatever. And so the question I came up with for Tashelle, and I think we'll have her using this to, yeah, let's have it be to Jay. Why does Tashelle remind you that you're a monster?
I think what it is like we were sort of friends at one point, sort of like always in the same classes, sort of friends, not very like deep involved, but hang out in the hallways. And we started hanging out like outside of school, and I was sort of hesitant about it, but like I started inviting her over to my house, where things are a little odd in my house, and my parents like treat me a little weird, and there are some family photos that are hard to explain. Uh, and I think she just started like taking it all completely the wrong way. Like she started building up this conspiracy theory in her mind of like what had happened to this daughter, why does no one talk about her, where is your room, sort of things. And I think she started like spreading it around like online through the school, her sort of theories about the horrible tragedies that had happened in my house. And it was just like the whole thing took my home life, which is weird as it is, at least sort of normal for me, and just put a spotlight on all of the like shitty reasons I don't invite people over anymore.
I love it. That's very good. Brennan, I think Toshelle constantly warned you about something in Mercy Falls, like, hey, you're new here, you need to know this. It could be anything you want, but just what does she warn you of?
She's probably at least knows something about those damned woods, and it's like warned me that like freaky shit is happening out there, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like it's the woods. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I like it. That's perfect. That's exactly right. All right, that sounds great. Awesome. I'm going to put Toshelle in. Whoever's in that cabin 6 field, if you'll just click off that so I can see the name there, that'd be great. I'm going to put Toshelle. We'll put Toshelle in cabin 3. Am I spelling this right? Tochelle? Or is it? What would you imagine the spelling, Kevin?
I had an S instead of a C, but either way is fine, honestly.
That's fine. Fantastic. Love that. I might move her picture over to the image board at some point. Okie doke. So we've got Brennan and Morgan in one cabin. We got Alex over in cabin 4, Toshelle over in cabin 3. Looking good. Feeling great. All right. In that case, let's just press forward with. Actually, I have a question about Alex too. I think Alex may not, we think that maybe Alex is like overcompensating a little bit in terms of his sexuality and the girls he dates and stuff, which has really pissed Jay off, right? I want to know, Brennan, what thing does Alex do that clearly shows he's into you, but that Brennan is too naive to realize he's doing?
Let's think about that for a sec.
Yeah, think about it for a minute. I'm gonna go to the next person, but think about it. So let's see who's next. Guess it's Jay. All right, Jay, where do you stay?
So I think with all of these like burned bridges and awkward relationships, it's only proper to sit right in the middle of them.
Okay, good. I like that. That's good.
So cabin 5.
Good. All right, awesome. Who's your NPC?
So my NPC is Akiko, Japanese girl. She's a dancer, like very serious about it. It's been in dance classes all of her life, sort of thing. And I think she's sort of quiet popular. Like she's someone's beta girl. She's up there in the social ranks and pretty and thin and athletic. But she doesn't like she doesn't speak up as much. She doesn't like start social events or trends or anything, but it's sort of like she's very, I think, expressive and sort of captivating through her dance.
And I'm sure that just all like further enhances how exotic she is to the guys at school, right?
Yeah.
So,
And she's like third generation townie sort of thing, so I imagine it's really frustrating.
I know this character too. Good. Fantastic. Well, what's your question to one of the other PCs?
So and this is sort of making an assumption here, Morgan, so feel free to backtrack some of this, but I think maybe you were in the same dance troupe with her for a long time. And I think since your accident, it's maybe one of the things that you've withdrawn from, like everything else. So I was curious, like, how explosive and messy it got when you left the dance troupe.
I imagine it was one of those things where you see the teenager just all of a sudden like, this is all bullshit. Nothing really matters. I mean, it's not like we're going to be doing this for a living or anything. And if you think you're going anywhere with this, you're all kidding yourselves. And
Nice.
just kind of like threw the tutu in the instructor's face and much drama.
And I think Akiko is definitely like living for this, believes that she is going to do this for a living and like get out of this nowhere town sort of thing.
Yeah, Morgan would definitely be rolling her eyes at that.
And yet, Morgan, I think I would ask you, like, what is it about Akiko that you nevertheless find like captivating, attractive, admirable? Like, if it weren't for you being so like burn it all down right now in your life, like, why would you guys be friends?
Well, I think maybe it comes back to that she's so dedicated. She knows what she wants and she's going for it. And there aren't a whole bunch of layers or false presentations. Again, with Akiko, what you see is what you're getting.
Yeah.
Again, there's like a real person there. May not be a lot of depth as far as Morgan's concerned, but she's like, she's not faking it. She's doing what she wants and loves. And not many teens maybe are really doing that. They're all worried about how other people are perceiving them always.
No, I love it. That's great. Brendan, I think Akiko's family was one of the first families to like welcome your family to Mercy Falls in some way. I'd like to know what they did, and I'd like to specifically know what Akiko did to make you feel welcome.
Let me answer the Alex question first because I've got that answer already in my head. Yeah. So I think that like he hangs around me a lot during the day, even though he ostensibly doesn't like me. And like he's kind of teasing me in like that like kind of like crushing sort of way. I think he's just an asshole. Like I haven't caught on to that. I think that he also likes to like we've been in gym class together and he's like always like hanging out with me like in the locker room and like kind of eyeing me a bit, like notably a little bit, like, but like I haven't really like realized that's what he's doing.
Fantastic. And so Akiko, I think she just did like something that you thought was like really nice, like the way she just to welcome you to the community.
Yeah, I think that like we're actually like pretty close neighbors, so like they came by early on, and then at school when I got there, kind of middle of the semester. She invited me to sit at her lunch table because I like, was kind of like looking a little bit lost. And kind of welcomed me into her friend group, which I'm slightly out of place in. You're muted.
Yes, because I was typing. Yeah, probably a little bit. Good. Fabulous. I'm not going to put Akiko on the cabin yet. Is everyone doing okay? Can we do a quick round of vignettes showing your home life, or do you guys need a break? Okay, all right, let's do that then. Then we'll have the break after that. So I want to, this is something I always like to do in Monsterhearts. I like to just see the characters by themselves at home in their rooms, getting ready for their day, wherever they're headed, right? In this case, you guys are heading to the first, it's the Saturday morning of the weekend that you're going to be setting up camp with the other camp counselors. And I like to do this in a very sort of like camera roaming about the house sort of way, right? Ask some painting the scene questions and sort of flesh it out in that way. Why don't we start with Morgan? Morgan, just at the outset, like, what's your family's like situation? Are they doing okay? Like, what's their job?
Oh, they're doing extremely well.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Her mom is orthopedic surgeon,
Mhm.
so that also means she's on call a lot for the ER.
Mhm.
And then her father is white collar worker at a business in town, maybe at like an insurance agency, we'll say.
That sounds good. I love it. And so you guys probably have like a nice house on a cul-de-sac, somewhere. Everything is surrounded by trees, but like
Yep, they're
Yeah.
closer to Chad's neighborhood than
Right.
to Margot's
to
neighborhood.
Margot's neighborhood. Yeah, perfect.
Uh,
Good. And I love that. I would like to know, as this sort of as we kind of pan into Morgan's room, I love the idea of like Morgan being like, she's daddy's little girl. Do you have any siblings?
nope,
Yeah.
only child.
Only child, daddy's little girl, decently well-off parents, but who is now like in this state of like just saying like fuck it all, right? Like just burn, just fuck it all, like let it all burn. As the camera pans around Morgan's bedroom, I'd like to know what we see that is a reminder of both her old life and her new perspective. So let's consider that for a minute. Consider that for a minute. Brennan. Brennan, I think, what's your family situation like?
Yeah, so I've got a couple siblings. I think that my dad died a few years ago. My mom's remarried. So at home I wake up. There's like a couple of the younger kids. My 6-year-old sister Katie, and then a 3-year-old Eric, kind of both from the new marriage. My mom's like kind of getting them ready for probably like Katie's going to like a dance class or something. I'm kind of like on my own a bit. Like I'm probably like packing some stuff up, about to head to the gym, pump some weights before I go to camp for the next couple months. I think my stepdad's like sleeping in, like he probably worked like really late, like last night. So he's like usually not up in the morning at least.
Good. So as we kind of move around your bedroom, I'd like to know what we see that is early evidence, or some kind of evidence of your early infatuation with Morgan. Like, what is it around your room? What is it? Just any little thing. I'd like to know what that is. And I'm going to ask. This is for each of you. We're all going to.
Yeah, I think that as we pan over the early and ongoing.
We'll hold that thought. We're going to come back to it.
Yeah.
And so, Jay, your situation. What's your home life like? I mean, we already know kind of like your parents have just sort of treat you as Karen, I guess. But what do they do? What's their their social status or whatever?
I think maybe my mom's like a teacher at the school. My dad's like a social worker, sort of situation, like very, very sort of bland liberal people.
Right. No, I love it. It's good. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I love it. I'm sure they like, drive to Seattle for things all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good. To paint the scene with Jay, I'd like to know what evidence we see of Karen in the room. Like, how do we know this is Karen's bedroom? And yeah, I think I just want to function totally in the Karen space there for that. And maybe even we can even maybe like pull that down to like the living room and stuff, like this stuff that Toshel saw, right? That's like
Mm-hmm.
evidence of Karen's existence, right? Like that's what I want to know. Good. Well, let's just think about that for a minute. Let's take a minute to think about those things. We'll take 5 right now and come back and do them. Okay. Okie doke. What do we see in Morrigan's home or bedroom, or more broadly, her home? What do we see that is evidence of her old life, as well as evidence of her brand new perspective? It can be two different things, right? Just whoever wants to throw something out there, go for it.
I think in Morgan's bedroom, there's a photo collage, and this is where her dad actually took digital photos, printed it out, and then cut out the people in them. And they're almost all him and her. So her mom, being on call for ER and stuff, is gone all the time. So he's the one that is able to go to all the school things with her. So there's photos of him and her, you know, after the play, after a concert, all that stuff where they're dressed up, some stuff where they're camping, fishing, things like that. And he's just made this really nice collage. And there's only a couple times where her mom shows up, and they look really pretty happy together, and like they really are enjoying being with each other in all those photos.
I love it. What about your new perspective?
I think if you look in the trash can, you see a whole bunch of torn up college application stuff.
Nice. Good. You're muted.
Yeah. Cut out there for a second. You were talking to me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Michael. Yeah. What just gonna get your thoughts on this?
The thoughts on what Kevin just said?
Oh no, on just what we see in her home.
What we see in her home.
Yeah, that shows her like evidence of her old life, but also some evidence of her new perspective of not giving up.
Yeah. I think that she used to, you know, almost like, you know, because of her parents' strictness, like keep like a super clean and well organized room. But that's definitely like coming apart a little bit. Like clothes are like starting to pile up, and there's even what you still see that's organized is like the slightly more like, you know, preppier, nicer clothes that she's not wearing enough. Like that's still on the rack. But like she's been going back and forth to, like this pile of like, you know, other of you know, her like, you know, darker, more interesting, or like, you know, whatever her current style is compared to that more like clean cut style.
Teenage rebel. I love it.
Maybe she's even cut up some of her jeans. God help us.
Exactly. Call the pastor. Patrick, what about you? What do you think?
So I think I'll sort of continue with the photo idea, but this is like the going down the stairs sort of frames on the wall going down thing with all these different family photos and like the big sort of group shots from the clubs or activities that Morrigan has been in. And I think they look sort of normal at first pass, but if you look closer, like the ones of Morrigan in activities and out doing things, like they're all damaged in some way. Like there's one that doesn't actually have any glass in the frame anymore, or there's one that just has like a small crack running through the corner of it, or there's one that if you like if you took it out of the frame, you'd unfold it, see it used to be bigger, and it's like burned on one end. As I think there's just been these like progressive blow-ups as she quits thing after thing and just destroys the honorifics of whatever is sitting around the house.
Morrigan, you're out of control. I want you to know that. You're out of control, girl.
I'm never getting into Stanford with this attitude.
You're not. You're definitely not. Exactly. Precisely. Very good. Let's go over to Brennan's household. What's the chat thing here?
Oh, last year's yearbook, like she would have been on like, you know, all across it, like all sorts of different clubs. Like this year, it's like open question whether she actually showed up on photo day.
Yeah, like whether her picture's even there, period. Yeah. Awesome. Good. Let's talk about Brennan. Just kind of picking up on the whole Morgan situation as well. What do we see in Brennan's domain that is early evidence, or maybe really explicit, so substantive evidence of his growing infatuation with Morgan?
I think, like, for one, like, when I like fell asleep, like, I left the laptop open. I was like Facebook stalking her, for one.
Nice.
For another, we also see nearby, when I first arrived, like, it was in the middle of like a unit in English, and the teacher still expected me to like sit for the exam. So Morgan was like really helpful going over the text, which was Frankenstein, obviously. And I've got that handy because it kind of reminds me of those early days.
Yeah, I love it. That's fantastic. Patrick, what about you? What do you see?
I like that sort of like English class connection. So I think there is a like well dog-eared and lots of bookmarks in it, like worn through small hardback copy of like Shakespeare's sonnets, as he's been looking for exactly the one that'll let her know how he feels about her.
Fantastic. Very good. Kevin, what do you think?
I think what we see is on the desk underneath the laptop, there's a series of folded up notes, and they're notes that they've been passing back and forth to each other in class at school. And they're just like little inside jokes and flirts and stuff like that. Stuff that if it got caught, it won't get them in huge trouble, other than the fact that they were passing notes. But showing that increasing level of flirtation and attraction to each other.
Nice. Good. Then let's go ahead and just move right on over to Jay. I was about to say Karen, just to be really meta here, but I'm not. We'll say Jay. What evidence do we see of Karen in Jay's home? Evidence, and I want to be really precise here, evidence that would indicate that, evidence that not only shows like there is a person named Karen here, but also maybe even like the distinct lack of evidence of Jay, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's, I don't know, stuck on photos, so I like this. But I think there's sort of a collection like on the mantelpiece or on like a table in the living room or something of little photos and frames that's like year by year of Karen going off to camp with like her bags packed and the family there, and we're all standing around except, it's just the three of them. It's not the four of them or anything. And there's even one of the frames is like a kitty kitschy thing that has like Karen spelled out in big cartoon letters on the frame and stuff.
Fabulous. I love it. I mean, the director of this movie would also be stuck on photos, right? So it's okay. I love that. Yeah, that's great. Like no evidence of Jay whatsoever. And even a progression of Karen, right? Like Karen is living her full life in Mercy Falls.
Yeah,
right?
Just like growing up summer after summer.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I love it. Michael, what do you think?
I think that even like, there's kind of like this weird double, there is this double life aspect where Karen's gone, but she's like still kind of present. I think that even like on a lot of her like, report cards, like documentations for school, like a lot of that shit, like she lives on. Like Karen actually has like this ghostly paper trail. I don't know if that's in place of Jay's. Like maybe you were never even entered into like the system. Like for like maybe you've still got like, you're basically using her birth certificate for all like we know, like but like I think that that's like an aspect, like maybe even like on your, it's up to you, but maybe even like on your driver's license, like rather than go and like get you registered and like sort through all of that bullshit, they have just been like keeping up the Karen thing.
I love it. I love it. And I know just and
So
just in a
weird.
backstory sense, I just love the idea of this little monster being left in on the doorstep, right? That just like overtakes, right? Like it's so creepy and predatory, and I love it. All right. Good. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, Michael stole my idea.
I didn't have any ideas, so I tapped into your mind and was like,
you can maybe tell us something that happened in class, or like something that
Oh
happened.
no, I've
like,
got something here.
Okay.
I'm gonna it's gonna be the classic. As a kid, you have the name label on your door and all that stuff, and Jay's door actually says Karen, and inside on the wall, there's still a small on the smallest wall next to the closet. There's still a mural for Karen up there from when she was really little, and that's never been taken away. And while there's posters and stuff all over the room, that space, it's like maybe even that Jay needs that reminder. Hey, I'm Karen. I am Karen.
Nice. I love it. That's really good. Normally what I do in a full-size Monsterhearts series is we do like scenes of the parents and stuff too, and then we go to the class. But I think in the interest of time, I'm just going to put you guys, we're going to just go straight to camp counseling. I think, like I mentioned, the campsite is not super close to the main town, right? You've got to trek out a little bit. By car, it's not far, but something happened to your cars, you'd be kind of stuck, right? I'm not saying anything's going to happen to your cars, but of course.
Not my beloved pickup.
Exactly. But Mercy Falls, I think the main thing you need to know here about Mercy Falls and the surrounding areas aesthetically, physically, in time and space, is that the trees feel very ancient. They're big, right? They're big. The forest is thick. It's hard to see anything, right? Like you have to be right up on like a building or something to see it, right? Because the trees just are everywhere, right? You are very much like the people of Mercy Falls, going all the way back down to the Camp Town days. It's always just been like doing your best to carve out a space in this woods, right? The woods are dominant, and more than just physically dominant, the woods exist in this mythological space in Mercy Falls too. So Toshel is going to be our touchstone for that this time, I think. But the main thing to know is that like the people of Mercy Falls have they have this like mythology built up about the woods, right? They have this way of talking about the woods almost to where like the woods is an entity all its own. Like the woods has its own will, right? That the woods are, I mean, it's almost, almost like the woods have a personality, right? And I think that's really important. The old people, especially in Mercy Falls, say things like, whenever something weird happens, they'll just kind of pass it off, like, "Oh, it's just the woods having its way," right? That kind of thing. And of course, Mercy Falls has a very, very troubled history. An outsider who's aware of anything that's been going on, the history of the town, would look at it with eyes wide, right? Like, and aghast. But the people of Mercy Falls themselves don't. The people of Mercy Falls, they forget it, right? They forget it. They move on, and that's really important to know. But some people push back, right? Oftentimes it's the player characters in this campaign, or people like Toshel, who demand answers and want to know why, like this person, there's somebody murdered 2 weeks ago, no one's talking about it anymore, right? That kind of thing. So as you are each driving out to the campsite and getting further and further away from civilization. I'd like to know, like, just what it is about the environment, what it is about just, I don't know, maybe it's something, just a feeling you have in your car or whatever. But I'd like to know, like, how you know you're almost being transported to like another world in a way. Like you are so separate and so pulled away from from civilization, even though it's just a couple miles away. It feels like it's much further. I'd like to just know, like, as you're kind of driving in your car, like, how do you know that? What do you feel? Maybe as you get out, maybe as you start walking down to the campsite, like, how does it feel removed, ancient? It could be as just a small thing too.
As Morgan comes into the parking lot with her car, and she's got her Spotify playlist going, we see the bars just drop down to zero, and the music stops. And she's like, you see her, she looks over at the phone and goes, "Yep, out in the sticks. Yay."
Yeah. Fantastic. I love it. Brennan, what do you think?
I think I'm a little bit unnerved just driving out here. It's not like I haven't seen the woods before, but like, Iowa farm country, like there are quiet spaces out there, but it's like, developed quiet spaces. There's like this unearthly, like very strange quiet. And like as you it's pretty hilly as well. And there's really like I get this sense of like leaving civilization behind as like I take my pickup to like actual dirt roads and am like kind of going up up and down over this like hill that like I almost get like I think on the way there I think I get lost for like an hour because like my maps like stops working and I'm not even used to like navigating without having that little arrow marking where I am. So like fortunately I left pretty early. Got up really early in the morning, so I was still.
And you still arrived before everyone else.
I think that's like the other thing that's kind of weird is that like I expect to get there and have like people be there, but like by the time I get there, there's like nobody there yet. Like I ended up just like hanging out in my truck for a while because the cabins are all locked. I like wonder even if I've like gone to the right place. Like, is this some old campsite? Like, what is this?
That's fabulous. I love it. And if we also think about you being from Iowa, this is so different, right? Like Iowa, there's not fucking anything, right? It's just trees in Iowa. It's just flat.
Goddamn hills. What is this shit?
Yeah, what's a hill? Exactly. So yeah, that's great. I love it. Good. Jay, what about you?
So, Jay doesn't have any problem finding his way to the camp. He's been there many, many times. But I think what's sort of weird and otherworldly as he passes and like he just doesn't even pay attention because what the fuck ever, nature. But every time he passes an animal, anything from like a stray dog or cat to like a stag or a bird on the side of the road or anything, like none of them run away from the car. None of them sort of scatter at the noise. They all just stop dead where they are and just slowly follow the car with their eyes and their head until he passes through.
Nice.
And just happens over and over and over again.
Love it. Centuries, right? It's good. You all eventually arrive. Alex, of course, is in charge of camp counselors, right? He is chief owlbear, right? He's head of the camp counselors. I have put a picture of Alex on the image board if you want to see what his smug face looks like. And that's great. I love it. You guys are all there. And everyone has arrived except for Akiko. Toshelle is there. The three of you are there. Alex is there. Akiko has not arrived. And I think there's just a lot of like, we'll just have a scene with like some chit chat, like just you kind of like, doing whatever you want to do, like right here in the beginning. If you want to frame up small side scenes to talk to specific characters, that's kind of cool too. Eventually, Alex will call a meeting to order. But for now, I'm just going to leave the ball in your court as far as like where this is going to go. Alex is kind of there looking a little impatient, looking at his watch, like, where is Akiko? Like, da, 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 da. And I think Toshelle is Toshelle stays a little bit away from the group, right? She kind of sits away from the group a little bit. She is not dressed for camping and for the woods. I think she's wearing like I think she wears like one of those like really long like Christian girl dresses, that go down to her ankles, and maybe even like buckle shoes, that kind of thing. And she's just kind of like off to the side, like making notes, like scribbling in a composition notebook, right? And yeah, so we'll just pick it up from there. Go for it. Take it away. Role play.
I think we see Morgan comes down the path. She's got the big, huge backpack. Looks brand new that her dad and mom gave her for going off to camp. And she tosses it into the cabin and comes back out and sits down next to Shell and like, so ready for a couple weeks of fun and ankle biters?
And Toshelle says, I'm sorry, what? What?
Where the heck is your head? I said you ready for a couple weeks of fun and the ankle biters.
Yeah, of course. I'm not good at fun.
Wow.
But I'm really, really excited to be here doing this. I can't wait to help out the kids. I'm very, very happy to be doing this camp thing.
Oh, is this part of your college application form just like mine?
Well, it's a little known fact, but any college that's worth getting into is actually it's really just recruitment for the Illuminati, for the New World Order. I personally don't want to get involved in that kind of scene. I choose to be an independent thinker. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to, so I'm not thinking about college much. I'll probably just go to the like, county technical.
Yeah, stick it to the man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like I mean, don't you just hate it when your parents are like, oh, when are you gonna start sending in applications? What do you want to be in life? Like that, that doesn't really just get you,
Yeah, tell me about it. My parents actually open up the letters when they come and they pick out the ones they want me to apply to. I'm like so done with it.
And it's like they just look at you and it's like they know something you don't know, And no matter how much you try to get it out of them, no matter how much you try them to be, try to get them to be truthful, you get them to open up to you about what's really going on, they won't do it,
I don't think they want to know what's going on. I don't think they have a clue. You think they know?
Yeah, of course they know. Everybody around here knows what's going on.
What's going on exactly?
You just wait. Okay, Morgan, you just wait. You're going to see very soon, maybe even this weekend, what lies beneath.
Okay, I'm gonna go find a coffee or something over.
Have
at
you
the
ever
camp kitchen.
wondered why you're supposed to fill out your college applications only in black ink? Any ink will do. Why does it have to be black?
I'll think about that while I'm getting my black coffee. I'll catch you in a bit, Tashelle.
She goes back to scribbling.
So I
Brennan,
think
what are you up to?
I am. We're going to be having a lot of bonfires, and I'm very conspicuously chopping wood in like a tank top and gym shorts. It's for everybody, but I'm very obviously doing it in view of like Morgan. And it's like, you know, I had stuff kind of ready to go. Like I wanted to, I don't start basically until she gets here and posts up, but like I've kind of been like thinking about this a little bit. And like, you know, I probably like very casually like say hi when she shows up, and then like immediately start like, you know, working up a sweat basically.
Oh, nice. That's turn someone on, right?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Trying to flag this as clearly as possible. Yeah. Do we have a dice room, or should I just grab it?
I'll grab
We cut out a
so-
yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm grabbing one.
Cool.
Truly noted sea snail. Well, good for you.
All right. Surely noted. All right, so let me get my 2d6. 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9 with my hot. So, the string or one of the reactions, up to you.
While you sort that out, I'm going to plug in the computer.
So what are you thinking, Kevin?
Let's see.
And I'll probably like if it helps us, you know, I'll probably like, you know, like midway through like finishing up, like I'll probably like I can approach you or you can approach me for whatever we want to roll.
I'm gonna give you a string on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna come up and go, oh, you're all Little House on the Prairie out here already.
I mean, yeah. Have you seen the schedule? Once these kids show up, it's bonfire 6 nights a week. You know, might as well get a head start.
Boy, you're a little more dedicated than I am.
Come on, you want me to show you how it's done? I'm like offering you the axe right now. We've got this all lined up. We got a block of wood out there.
Oh my god!
You want to have a swing?
Yeah.
And I'll give you kind of like very like hands on, like I'm standing behind you, like very like touchy feely, like here's here's how we're gonna chop this wood. So, do you think that you're like gonna surprise me and like get a clean like you could? I think like get like a really like surprisingly like hefty chop in there. What do you think?
So Morgan's she's camped for years and years. She knows how this works, but she's gonna play dumb for a bit so that you can like correct her form and adjust her stance and all that.
Yeah.
And after about 3 minutes of that, then she's just gonna like split like 4 or 5 in a row on single stroke and go, wow, you are such a good teacher, Brennan.
Wow, you're learning so quick. Yeah. High five.
Good. I love it. Jay, what do you look like right now?
So I look like Jay. I think I look sort of like the picture in the character keeper to start off with. And I think I'm actually like up on the roof of cabin 5. I'm up there smoking, and I was having a really nice afternoon, like watching Brennan chop wood, but then Morgan came over and this whole like sad melodrama starts playing out, and I can voice the parts for them. It's so predictable. Whatever, it's boring. So I think I'm gonna like hop down from there. I think maybe that's when I go into cabin 6. I know they're both out there, and like that's when I steal some of Brennan's clothes. Like I don't start by going in there to steal them. Obviously, I'm just like checking things out, and like I find his hoodie and like a pair of jeans, and they smell nice. He obviously like washed them recently, and then like there's a noise, and I have to like hurry out and take them with me.
Nice, good. And since that's part of your backstory, I'm not going to make you keep your cool or anything, but I like that. Yeah, that's where we see it happening. That's good. As you step out, I think as you walk, you kind of go out in a hurry, right? And like oh shit, it's actually Alex, and you bump into Alex, right? And he's like, oh, hey,
Alex, I hear you're in charge this year.
Yep, I am indeed. This is the kind of thing that looks really, really good on college applications.
Well, and that's what we're all most concerned about is what looks good for other people, obviously.
And I'm wondering if he's like sharp enough to realize you're shutting him down or not. I don't know. I think he's not. I think he's not aware of your like bitterness.
My wit goes unappreciated.
Yeah, totally unappreciated. He's like, yeah. Well, you got to do. I mean, I've got, I have a certain reputation to maintain. Jay, you get that, right?
I'm very aware of your reputation. How lovingly you keep it.
I mean, I just want you to know that, like, anything between us in the past, it's not about you. It's not even about me. It's about people's expectations, And I've got goals, and that means I have to make certain decisions that are painful and sometimes hurtful.
I sort of like blow a puff full of smoke into his face as I move up as he's sort of coughing and just put my hand on his back. Yes, of course, for other people's expectations. You wouldn't want to do anything untoward. So I like reach my hand down his back and sort of caress him.
It feels like a turn someone on, but it also could be a shut someone down. What are you angling for?
I think maybe it turns someone on. I wanna like prove the lie to him right now.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's great.
That's a 6 though, even with my +2.
I think like you put your hand, you're moving your hand down, and he turns to look at you, and he like takes his glasses off, right? And he's with or without his glasses on, he's pretty cute, but he takes his glasses off and he smiles and he says, hey, look, I know you're not happy about all that stuff last semester. I get it. But just, try to hold it in your memory. Try to be thankful that you had that really singular, wonderful experience. You may not get anything like it ever again.
Oh, thank you, Alex. I will hold on to that fucking precious memory as just the best moment of my pathetic little life. Don't you have some camp to run?
And he's like, it always happens this way, Jay. I'm sorry. I wish I didn't have this power over people, but it's a burden. I'm telling you, it's a burden.
Oh my God.
But there's something about his arrogance and his confidence that I think is like getting to you, though. I'm giving him a string. I'm giving him a string on you.
Definitely gonna huff off. None of that affected me. I didn't even care about that. Probably much.
But you definitely like, he smelled good. He's cute. He's super confident. Like he's just got that like arrogant confidence that like overrides your good sense, right?
Yeah. And I think it was very much like that. The glasses coming off and the sort of slow stare there at the beginning, like it turned the whole thing around on me. Like I was trying to turn him on, and it just sort of proved that, like, oh wait, I may not be totally over this guy.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm gonna give you a condition too of like, take the condition like, I'm gonna give you the condition pathetic.
Oof.
And because and it's not something he said to you. I think it's just something you're taking on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, how pathetic am I right now? And he's like, yeah, we do. We got to have this meeting soon. And where is Akiko? 6 camp counselors. That's what was called for here. And he kind of stomps off. Let's just kind of bring everybody together here. The initial meeting is going really late. Like there's no like he's kind of like he keeps like delaying and delaying. Where's Akiko? Where's Akiko? Morrigan, Brennan, almost certainly you have her phone number. Even if you like march up to the to the top of the campsite or up to where the cars are, you don't get a great signal. So you're not sure if she's just not answering or if you're just not able to get in touch because of the cell signal. But Akiko is a driven, dedicated young woman. She's definitely getting into Stanford, right, or wherever she intends to go. It's not like her to be late to anything. It's certainly not like her to do something like this and not tell someone, right? And so, yeah. So the meeting is just going to start without her. And it's mostly just Alex holding forth about all the different things that will be required for this weekend and how important it is that we give it our all, for these kids, and he even says like, do your best to smile, as he looks at Morgan, when the kids are around, just try to be a little chipper. And then he looks at Toshel, try not to fill their heads with a bunch of like weird, fucked up thoughts. Okay, that we're, just be cool.
Yes, sir.
I've been nodding along earnestly the whole time, although I'm not paying attention.
Nice. And he says, does anybody know, just like, has anybody heard from Akiko? Does anybody know, like, was she planning to, like, did she have something come up? Is there something going on that I don't know about?
I just assume that the princess wants to make a dramatic entrance stage left.
Right. I'm sure she'll be pirouetting and chassaying all the way down the trail. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. It's not like her to not be here right now. You know that, Morgan. Come on.
Well, I can go back to town or go far enough to get a signal.
Yeah, maybe. Look, we've got a bunch of let's just get going. I want to just get going. We're already so far behind schedule. And he begins like doling out jobs or whatever, right? And that's kind of what's happening. I think I just want to go around the table and just find out what I just find out what's kind of scenes you might be interested in having right now. Either with other player characters, with one of the NPCs, maybe going to look for Akiko, whatever you want to do is fine by me. But I just want to kind of get a sense of what you're each interested in doing first. What do you think, Brennan?
I think that either I want to get some time with Jay pretty soon. So either like doing some bullshit like tasks that put us together, or looking for Akiko or something. Either one of those. I think we could get the 3 of us looking for Akiko in a bit. I mean, whatever you're thinking there.
Sounds good. Jay, what do you think?
I like the idea of some sort of like thing at the camp here that needs to be like unpacked and set up, like maybe like the tables and benches for like a pavilion, where like the sort of dining hall pavilion or whatever.
Right,
something that like Jay knows where all the stuff is, but is sort of manual labor too.
Yeah, it's perfect. What are you thinking, Morgan?
Maybe going through the campers' cabins and making sure, opening up the doors and stuff to air them out and make sure everything's ready for the campers to check in and at the beginning of next week.
Awesome. Cool. I love it. Fantastic. So let's just frame up scenes then. Maybe everyone is kind of like doing, they're just kind of you guys are just kind of generally doing what you said you were doing. But Brendan, I'm going to put the ball in your court as far as like maybe rounding up a posse or getting people like kind of getting things moving away from the camp or whatever you want to do here. Just frame up your scene.
Okay. So I think that like, I would be interested in having that scene with Jay where we're kind of like unpacking stuff a bit. Maybe I'm like a little bit low level anxious about Akiko being like weirdly missing, but I'm sort of trying to, ignore that. So I kind of spark up some small talk with Jay, kind of like, oh, so, it seems like the lay of the land here pretty well.
I've been coming to Camp Mercy Falls most of my life for my sins. It's, it is what it is.
Oh, nice. I mean, like, how do you like it? Like, I used to go to camp back in Iowa. Fun time, a lot of singing around the campfire, lots of fun, like, hanging out by the lake.
Oh, it's great. There's mosquitoes and bear shit, and the lighting is just wonderful. There's not an even ground to be walked across. Everybody's smelly and dressed in the same terrible clothes. It's
you should go to camp in Iowa. We have plenty of even ground to walk across.
In between all of the corn rows, I guess.
We've got some woods. I mean, not like this. I mean, this is amazing looking around at these like huge like trees out here around us. Quick question: what's Jay wearing in this scene?
I think we're still on that same outfit, sort of like the sunglasses pushed up on his head and big sort of glittery skull t-shirt.
Yeah. So like I picture us kind of like unpacking, like, we got this table, like getting the dining hall like kind of laid out basically. I'm gonna push a give and move in this scene. I think that I'll be like, so, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, do you really like this place? Like, I think that I kind of see through, you're kind of being like openly like sarcastic a little bit. So I'm like, do you really like this place? I mean, what's the point of coming back if you're not into it?
Look, my parents pressed me into coming this year, sure. But I mean, I have some good memories here. It's not the worst place ever. The skits at the end of the week are actually pretty fun. And, there's the trails down by the lake are nice. Just, make sure you don't go alone. It's easy to get lost in these woods, but I've been down all the trails. I
definitely
can show
never go into the woods alone.
Everyone keeps telling me about these woods. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, I've got a compass, I've got a map. Like, I mean, I don't see like what could go wrong. Like,
I think Tashelle is on scene while you guys are in the kitchen moving things around, and she says, "Never go deeper into the woods alone. Never."
Like what? Like, are there bears or something? Like, I don't get it. Like, why all of you are so worked up over the woods?
Because
it's pretty normal out here to me.
Everyone knows there are groups of people who meet in secret deep in the woods. They have for years and years. I mean,
that sounds. Yeah, us. We're the camp counselors. We meet out here in the woods. This is normal.
No, I mean deeper in the woods.
That sounds.
Yes, Brennan. They're out there. They have robes. They have rituals. They're
exactly.
Doing bad things.
What are they doing? What are the bad things these rogue people are doing out there in the woods?
I don't know. What was it, Toshelle, last time? Was it enacting hurtful city ordinances? Oh, same thing. Yeah.
Praying to their ancient gods, trying to bring forth a new reality. A new
And I
world
kinda-
order, a new shining kingdom on the hill.
I kind of like scoff and like roll my eyes. I just go like, yeah, right, Tashelle. I'll believe that when I see it. I mean, when you guys actually get the robes out and do some freaky shit, then I'll believe it. I think in the back of my head, I am like thinking of some kind of like I'm thinking of going into town at some point and getting some robes so I can prank Tashelle.
Nice. Very good, very good. You're shutting down to Shell. Go for it. I'll shut down.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm not good at that though. Let's get the dice out there. You roll selected. Oh, I rolled well. I think it gets me into 7 to 9 territory because I think I'm -1 cold, so that's an 8. So I get to choose one of the below options, but I will get a condition. I think that I'm going to gain a string on her.
Awesome. You're going to get the condition sheeple.
Yeah. There we go. Because like I think that like there is like Toshelle like clearly off base about some things, but like people like some of the stuff like the wood stuff, like other people will kind of second and like buy into. I may be seeming a little bit too naive out here.
I think she just like as soon as you like kind of shut her down or whatever, she kind of like takes a step forward, like which is really like unusual for her to like, get so close to someone, and she steps up close to you and she says, "You're really wide and strong."
Yeah, I'm a wide receiver. I am very wide.
Muscular, but you're...
Thank you, I say.
But none of that is going to help you in the end, Brennan. None of that is going to save you. You're just another cog in the machine. You're just another lamb being led to the slaughter. I don't know what brought your family here, Brennan, but you need to go.
At this point, like I am just I'm going back to opening up some of these tables and like not like ignoring her, but like I'm like yeah like but like I'm like sort of like I'm like all right, like whatever.
I think that's when Morgan will come in and she's like, "Is coffee service up yet?" And then she sees Toshelle unusually close because everyone's noticed how she's kind of standoffish, partially from probably being shunned, and it's a habit now to have a bigger personal space bubble. And she just kind of would just come up and insert myself in there and like maybe caught just the last bit of that. I'm like, worry about yourself, Toshelle. Brennan and I will worry about each other. Okay.
And she looks up at you and she says, and she kind of like leans in a little bit too, and she says, "I know what you are."
What's that?
And she kind of like she turns and goes back to organizing whatever she was doing.
Look over, Brennan. That girl always has something to say, even when there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I can tell.
I think at this point, Alex is off scene. I think he's probably like at another part of the camp, like getting something ready. And so he's not around. The 4 of you are getting the kitchen and stuff ready. You do hear a voice, though, a man's voice, a young man's voice, calling out from outside. He's saying, hello, is anybody here? Is anybody there? Hello?
Yeah, I'll step out there, see what's up.
I put a picture of this guy on the image board. He's wearing like a sort of like a kind of a green like military jacket, like an army jacket, and he's got a backpack on his shoulder, and his hair is a little mussed, and he has kind of like a he looks like he's probably like half Korean or half Japanese or something, right? and he says, "Oh, hey, is this like where the camp counselors go to meet?"
This is where we're meeting.
Do you all go out there to meet him?
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, great, cool. I'm here."
I'm like, I don't know. This is weird. So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm Brennan. What's up?
Like, hey, Brennan. My name's Fall. Nice to meet you. He goes and shakes your hand.
Yeah.
He's like, so, this is great. This is pretty cool.
Have I ever seen this kid around anywhere
No.
before?
You guys don't recognize him at all.
Are
I'm
you?
still like, what?
Go ahead.
I'm still like very much proceeding as normal. Like, yeah, so like, we're just in here getting the kitchen and dining area set up. Kids are coming in a few days, so I want to make sure that everything's like looking good by then. And I just like start kind of like, acting like everything is normal.
Right. But Jay and Morgan, you don't know this guy, right? Like Brennan could just conceivably like not realize he's, because Brennan's new to school, but you guys don't know him. What do you do, Jay?
Yeah.
Did Alex call you in to replace Akiko?
He's like, "Oh, I don't know anything about an Alex or an Akiko. I just know that this is, I don't know. I always kind of help out during camp sometimes. So I thought I'd just come over, see if you guys needed anything."
You, I guess you must be newish here in town. I don't recognize you from camp. I mean, I haven't been here in a couple of years, but
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not from Mercy Falls.
oh, and
Where
you
are you
just
from?
I kind of move around. You
to
know,
summer camps.
it's like, oh, I don't know. I just like it out here, and I just try to be helpful whenever I can be.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. I'm Morgan.
Oh, my name's Fall, like the season.
That's an interesting name, Fall. I'm Jay.
Hey, how's it going, Jay? And he like, he kind of like, he shakes your hand, right? And he says, "Yeah, I was born in mid-October when the trees where my folks lived were starting to turn yellow and orange, and so they named me Fall."
Wow. Interesting story. Where's your bags and stuff if you're gonna be you said you're a counselor here, but you just volunteer?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've got all my stuff here. He's got his backpack with him.
Oh, he does have a backpack.
He does have a backpack, yeah. He's like, "So, I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised you guys aren't playing any music or anything. Like, surely one of you guys has a cassette deck or something, right?"
I just look over at Jay and Brennan and with WTF I mouth, and I look back. I'm
like,
like,
I've got a Bluetooth speaker.
I'll just mount.
I'm starting to realize things are weird though by now. Like I kind of standing in the doorway because I was ready to go back into the dining hall and like get back to like work, but I'm starting to realize that the two of you should recognize this person. Don't.
I think as Morgan leans in, like Jay will lean back in and sort of mouth, "Hipster," and just like lose all interest.
I look back over at Fall. I'm like, so cassette player, you got like some mixtapes with you?
Oh, I mean, I'm not really into music. I just, it's just nice to have some background noise or whatever. But
Oh, yeah. Jay brought that Bluetooth speaker. We've got, I've got some music downloaded locally on my phone. What do you want to listen to? Some Ramones, Black Sabbath.
downloaded on your phone.
Pulled it up.
Oh,
Spotify download premium membership.
cool. Yeah, cool. Like, is there Do you have like Duran Duran or something like that?
Boy, I'm fresh out of Duran Duran.
We could go back into town and download some Duran Duran if we feel the need.
Yeah, maybe for like a campfire party later on. Was
Yeah.
that Girls on Film? I think I remember that they sing that song, right?
I love that song. It's so good. And
Yeah.
he's like, cool. And he's like, well, I guess I'll go find my cabin.
Yeah, well, that one right there, and I point at the one that Brennan and I have. That one got its counselors already. So any of those
no,
others.
Yeah, no, that's great. Maybe I'll just go to the one next to you. And he's gonna claim a bunk in Jay's.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll show you the ropes. God, what?
He's like, are you wearing makeup?
Are you wearing flannel?
And he doesn't really know how to respond to that. And he's kind of looking left and looking
What's
right.
wrong with flannel?
Cool. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get settled in. I guess we probably need to start chopping some wood and stuff, right?
I got a little head start on that, but yeah, we're gonna need a lot when the kids show up.
He's like, cool. Radical. And
Hey,
goes,
Brennan. Hey, Brennan, you want to go up to the parking lot and see if Kiko's car is up there or anything?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm also very curious about what sort of vehicle Fall came in on. I'm expecting to see a VW minibus.
And like as we're walking, like I'll be like, so what do you think happened to Akiko? Like, did she just something came up? Like it wouldn't, I wouldn't expect her to be this late. Like it's probably is it like around sunset-ish, Jason? Like what are you thinking for time?
It's probably no, I think it's probably maybe late afternoon.
Okay,
Yeah, but she's several hours late now.
Oh yeah, she's like not coming.
Yeah, she was never late for anything at school.
Maybe she had the wrong day.
That's not Akiko. No, something either with her folks or car problems or something. She's not a no-show kind of person. If she wasn't going to be able to make it because she was sick or something, she would have called someone. I mean, granted, you can't get, and I pull out my phone, I can't get any messages down here, but I'm sure that, she wouldn't wait to the last minute until everyone was out here and then try to let us know.
I mean, you think we should drive back into town real quick, or at least far enough to get a signal? Like, do you think she's missing?
Well, as you get up to the spot where you park your cars, there are 6 cars. Your cars, Alex's car, and Akiko's parents' Volvo is there as well.
Well, that's Akiko's mom's car right there. Go check and see if it's locked or unlocked.
It is locked.
Anything seem out of the ordinary, inside it? Within view?
No, at a glance, no, not that you can tell. Books in the back seat, that kind of thing.
I'm gonna shout Akiko! Akiko! A few times.
No
Nothing.
reply. No.
Maybe we should kind of walk around a bit, see if she's I don't know where.
So are there any trails leading off of the parking lot besides the one that goes down to the camp, Jason?
No.
Okay. I'm not just going to go wandering out in the woods without at least a compass and something, because I tell you what, if you don't know how to orienteer, you don't want to go just wandering out in the woods, regardless of what Toshelle said.
Got a compass. I've got a park map. I mean, we're good.
On you right now?
I think that it's in like it's back in the campsite, like
Yeah.
back in
Okay, that's cool. And I lean down, like grab you kind of by the shirt and just tug on a couple buttons. My little Boy Scout. He's prepared.
I'm like, I mean, like, look, I've been out here before. Everyone's like, watch out for the woods. Like, you know, I want to be able to tell them, fuck off. I got a compass.
Is it a turn on when you grab them and like try to?
Yeah, it probably is.
Or do you want to just spend a string right now? Because you have so many. Just
Yeah,
spend a string
I'll
and they
go
can do
ahead and
something.
just spend a string.
What do you want? What do you want him to do?
What I want him to do is I want him to go out in the woods with me now with the compass and map, and we might mess around, and we'll also look for a Kiko.
Yeah.
All right, good, cool. Marketing experience. Messing around too was part of that, I think. Back at camp, you don't know anything yet about this, about Akiko's mom's car being at the parking lot, Jay. Alex is nowhere around. It's just you and this guy. So what do you do? You can frame up your scene however you want. Oh, and Toshel too.
So I think like he goes down towards my cabin, starts like heading in there. I'm like uncomfortable with that, and I turn around to talk to Morgan about it, and she and Brennan are just gone.
Right.
So I'm just like, oh fuck. So I work up nerve and I follow him down to the cabin a couple minutes later just to see like what is the deal with this guy, and he's going to be moving into this cabin with me. Okay, fine. Fall. I should get to know him, I guess.
You should get to what?
Know him, I guess.
Yeah. So, well, so where do you go? Friend, like, who's there? What's happening?
So I think it's there in the cabin.
Okay, with him.
With him, yeah. And he's, I don't know, unpacking, or didn't sound like he had a ton.
He does not, and he's just got. In fact, his backpack is just leaning up against the bedpost, or the foot of the bed, and he's stretched out, laying on the bed, and I think when you step into the cabin, he says, he's like looking up. He's like, I was wondering how long it would take for you to come find me in here.
Well, this is, my cabin too. And I mean, if we're going to be sharing it, I guess I just wanted to get to know the new stranger in the camp.
He kind of rolls over and like props himself up on his elbow, right? Props his head up on his elbows, kind of like that. And he says, and he looks at you and he's like, yeah, we should get to know each other a little bit. That'd be great.
So, like you said, you've been here to the camp before?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Where do you live otherwise? You said you travel around, just there can't be summer camps all year.
My folks have a place, kind of out in the woods a little bit. They used to work around here, they used to be rangers, but they're retired now. I kind of help take care of them a little bit.
Oh, I gotcha. That sounds nice, I guess, if you like the woods.
He's like, I can't say I'm a huge fan of the woods, but I've had a lot of time to get used to it. So yeah, it's almost like we've become one,
No, I don't. But that sounds fun.
He's like, so tell me about you.
I'm me. Just nothing to speak of much in life. I'm amazing and fabulous, as you can see. I just wander around, basically winning at everything and just living an amazing rock star life, as you can tell by the fact that I'm here at summer camp.
He's like, yeah, definitely. Well, cool. I guess, is there someone in charge?
There's Alex is in charge this year, so that should be an adventure. He's, I don't know, up that way getting together some paperwork and just, I don't even fucking care.
He's like, yeah, I better go find him. And he gets up off the bed, grabs his backpack, throws the backpack over his shoulder to go find Alex. What do you do? It's weird behavior, right?
Well, and also especially concerning because I was totally planning on going through it as soon as he left.
Yeah. So what do you do instead? Like, how do you stop? You stop it? Do you say something?
I'll say like, "Oh, are you not going to be staying here?"
Oh no, I'm totally staying here. You seem cool. You seem like a pretty awesome dude.
Well, there's for the counselors' beds, we have a chest down at the foot of it. If you just want to like throw your stuff in there.
And he's like, I always feel like until I get to know people better, I have kind of like trust issues. But once I get to know someone a little better, then I tend to lighten up a little bit,
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
And he's still got his backpack on his shoulder and he's turning to leave. This might call for desperate measures.
Yeah, I think as he's like going by the doorway, I'm just gonna grab him, pull him in, and kiss him.
Nice.
And say, "Does that seem closer?"
Nice. Turn someone on.
Oh, that went better. It's 9.
Let me look at the moves here, see what my choices are. I can either give you a string or choose one of the reactions. I give myself to you. I promise something I think you want, or I get embarrassed and act awkward. I give myself to you. I think he kisses you back passionately and he pulls away a little bit. And he's like, he says, you smell so good.
Wow, I wasn't expecting quite that reaction. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, I do. You can erase the pathetic condition. I think you've taken sufficient action to clear that.
So, do you feel
That'd be a really,
more
really fun weekend.
comfortable? I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, he says, I can tell this is going to be a really, really fun weekend. And he kind of pushes you like in deeper into the cabin and kind of like throws you down on the bed a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And he gets on top of you and he begins like kissing your neck and nibbling on your ear, and he whispers a name over and over again. Shay. But it's hot, so maybe you go with it.
Yeah.
What's your sex move?
Yeah. Let's see. Once you've had sex with someone, add 1 to your rolls for passing as them.
Good. That's fantastic. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. So, no luck. Just as an initial excursion into the woods, no luck finding Akiko. But you do have luck finding each other. um, who makes the first move here?
I'm pretty sure it's Morgan.
Yeah, I was thinking
Pretty
the same
aggressive.
thing.
So how does that go? I mean, how do you make your move? When do you make your move? We'll say you've been looking for like 20 or 30 minutes. You've gone pretty far in the woods.
You know, let's take a break. You know, let's I'm gonna sit down next to one of the big trees and I'm like, come on, let's have some water, power bar.
All right, so I'll like pull that stuff out of my backpack. I'll like sit there, open up the power bar, pass it to you.
Oh, Brennan.
So I look at him like, I tuck it into the pocket of my shirt that I've got on, and I take that off and lay it down next to me. And I'm like, as long as we're away from everyone and, I've been wanting to spend a little time getting closer with you, and I'm going to lean in and kind of again, be doing that thing where running the finger along the neck and the V-neck of your shirt and stuff. And
I mean, at that point, I'll just make out with you. Do you want to get a turn someone on roll in there first?
sure.
I think this is all just. I mean, to me, this is all just follow up. This is follow up.
This is follow up.
Yeah,
on the last one.
I pulled a string for this.
Right.
And so just start macking on you and then making out. You get to be on the bottom, though, and get filled up with fine needles and all that. You can be the one brushing them all out of your hair when we cut back after it's over.
We could end this back at the cabin as well. That's an option also. But yeah, I'm game for that. I'll put up with that to get laid.
Yep. Well, and you notice that I'm not quiet while we're having sex, and that might be why we did it out here in the woods, because I'm pretty sure that everyone would have heard back in the cabin. And right now, I maybe still
they can know about us, Morgan. That's all right. We don't have to keep this a secret. We're practically adults.
I'll decide who gets to know about us and who doesn't.
Nice.
Don't be thinking that you own me, which of course is what the mortal thinks.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we're together, obviously. I mean, we don't have to own each other. It doesn't have to be a possession thing.
Yeah, it definitely isn't a possession thing, but it's fun, and it's going to keep being fun.
Is that a shut someone down or no?
No. I think that's just I'm trying to establish some boundaries here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that then you can encroach on them.
I'm okay, I get it, but I don't get it. I mean, it's yeah, I got you 100%.
All right, so let's see how good you are with the orienteering. Can you get us back to camp now?
I think you should fire off sex moves first, right?
Oh God, help us, yes.
Yeah. I've got a new hunger.
And you go darkest self. Oh, next time I take my eyes off you, they become their darkest self.
Right.
Okay.
And how do we interpret that? Take your eyes off. I've had games where it's not until the mortal sees that person paying attention to someone else that they perceive as a threat.
Yeah, I think the way I'm going to interpret this is new, right? I think I haven't had a mortal yet in MH2. I think the way I'm going to interpret this is not literally take his eyes off you, but more when either he gets distracted by something or you stop being the focus, even for just a bit, right?
Right. Well, what does for you, Morgan, when I wake up that something sinister within you, I mean, there's an element of that does start here. It's obviously not darkest self yet, but there's a little bit of a glimmer in that? Like, I mean, what kind of comes over Morgan like while we're fucking?
Well, I think it's been kind of a domination thing for her, showing that she can wrap you around the finger a bit. And so maybe I'm going to take the additional hunger of power. And she wants to, her parents have always been trying to exert all the control. Now this is her chance to start exerting control through power, whether it might be physical or sexual.
To be clear, you write a new hunger. Like it's a new
I write one
hunger,
completely
right?
new?
Yeah.
I don't just choose another one.
You do not just choose another one. You create a new hunger. And it should be something associated. It can be really specific, like a hunger for having sex with Brennan, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It's a new specific hunger associated with
that power bar.
Yeah.
All right. Create a new hunger.
Anyway, you can think about it for a second.
Yeah, I need a minute to think about what that's going to be.
I think the idea though is it's supposed to like create a sort of obsession in you, right? Like I think that's the spirit of what that sex move is trying to do, right? Like your ravenousness becomes focused on the person, right? Or at least something about the situation. Maybe having sex in the woods, right, or something like that. Let's come back over to Jay and this guy Fall. He leaves his bag. He just leaves it casually on the bed, and he goes outside, and you hear him talking to Tashelle, and basically he's like, "Hey, you want to come with me to go find Alex?" And she's like, "I guess so." And they go off to go find Alex. What do you do?
So like as soon as he starts walking off, because I think that's probably something sort of like tied into the sort of cuckoo nature and maybe something that I hate about myself a little bit, but like I'm really driven to be what people want me to be, sort of fit into their image of what they see. And he kept saying this name over and over again. So
Right,
I'm going through his bag. I want to find some sort of like picture or evidence or some sort of idea of what Shay looked like, so that I can be more like that.
Yeah. So you're just gonna rifle through his bag?
Yeah.
Here's what you find. There's a change of clothes, jeans, underwear, t-shirt. There is there are a couple of pictures. Both are pictures of him as he looks, now, or pretty close to it, dressed pretty similarly. They're not like younger pictures. They're contemporary pictures for him. Pictures of him, like they're Polaroids of him with his arm around, like in a friendly way, like with this other young man who you don't recognize. And that young man is kind of like is wearing like kind of a flannel and like, and has like sunglasses on, right? He in the picture is a little different. In the picture, he's well, I think like as you're handling this Polaroid and you're kind of like wanting to learn more about him, I really feel like we're getting close to gazing into the abyss here, right?
Okay.
This feels like a gaze into the abyss kind of moment. And so I think what I want to know is there's one more thing you find in the bag too. We'll talk about that. But I just want to know, like, what's your question? Like, what do you want to know?
I guess what I'm searching for is like, how can I be more like this Shay? How can I fit into what he was seeing?
Yeah, I love it. Okay, go ahead and roll plus dark.
Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm not great at that. Let's see what happens. It's a 7 minus 1 is 6.
A detail. he's got his arm around this guy. You notice now that the guy in the picture that he's like got his arm around,
Mhm.
he's dressed like Fall is right now.
Huh.
And Fall in the picture he looks the same, haircut and physical appearance and everything, but he's dressed distinctly differently. Like he has like a soft pastel colored like cardigan like tied around his neck, right? A different style, right? And that's a little strange. And you continue rifling through the bag, and you felt it poking you a little bit. Like, what is this thing poking me? And you eventually go deeper to figure out what it is. And it's a mask. It's a mask of a stag's skull with horns. And you pull it out and you put it on. A cutaway. So it's getting dark, you two. And as you're coming back from wherever you were coming back to have your little in flagrante delicto moment, you run into this guy, Fall. He's like, "Oh, hey!" Like he's kind of like a little startled, right? He's like, "Sorry, I was looking for Alex. I think his name is. Couldn't find him."
No idea where he is.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen him in a while. I mean, Rick, he wouldn't wander off, right? That's what you guys are always warning about. Don't wander off by yourself in the woods.
And I lean over and rub on Brennan. I'm like, yeah, don't go alone into the woods. Much better when you go with someone.
He's like, "Why? What's wrong with the woods?"
Look, I don't know. I'm not from around here, so like these people seem like I don't know. Everyone just says that. I think it's just like a saying around here, like don't go off alone in the woods. And
Come
Could be
back
good
with
advice.
us. We'll introduce you to Shell, and she can tell you about the woods.
He's like, "Oh yeah, Toshelle. I was out here with her actually. She got a little freaked out about the woods too, and she went back to camp already. So yeah, we should just go back."
okay, but like, what about Alex though? Like, we haven't seen him in a minute. You said you didn't see him back there at the campsite, and we'll start heading back that way.
He's like, "No, I was just going to go and just let him know that I was here to help out this weekend and this summer if he needed me, but I couldn't find him." What do you guys think about Jay? He's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I like Jay.
He's like, yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's had my back a few times.
Yeah, he reminds me of you know who he reminds me of?
No.
Boy George.
I'm just going to look over you, Brennan, and go,
You know, like Karma Chameleon and all
I
that.
just go, who's that?
he's this old guy.
George, you know, Karma Chameleon.
He's an old guy. Why do they call him Boy George?
Oh, God. My parents used to listen to that music. Yeah.
So you like a lot of 80s stuff, I guess, right, Fall?
Oh yeah, you know, yeah.
I mean, that shit, everyone
retro
says
like
that's hip right now. I mean, I listen to more like 70s stuff myself, but like, that's cool.
Yeah. You guys will get back to camp. You know, Jay, you're technically wearing his clothes right now. Do you want to trigger that one move?
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted to slip one more thing in there that like while I was going through his bag and you said I found like his t-shirt, like I think I in the midst of looking through other things probably like lifted that up, sort of smelled it and just like absentmindedly slipped it on. So now I've got like his shirt and the mask on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to count that as a natural, even though you haven't like proven to look like him yet to someone else. But I think it's enough to trigger this off here. And
So it's
and I'll let you
it'll
we'll just say you had a string from having sex with them, so turning them on. So
okay, and yeah, it triggers off when someone sees me.
right, yeah. Well, so how do you want this to go? I mean, do you want someone to see you dressed like him first, or what?
Yeah, I think I'll wander out of the cabin, and whether it's like just him or whether the three of them see me sort of in the distance. I don't
Let's just say
know.
it's him.
Okay.
You guys, I think maybe maybe the three of you split off at some point, and maybe he went ahead, right? Because you two are like busy canoodling or whatever, right? And he goes up, and I think at this point, like it's getting to be, the sun is like almost down on the horizon. You guys are gonna have to light a fire at some point. But he comes out of the tree line into the cabin area where you're at, and you step out wearing the stag skull and the t-shirt, or just the t-shirt?
I got the feeling that was sort of the 6- there, so definitely the skull.
Yeah, that was my intention. I haven't something else I'm pushing there too that's a little that I'm not like totally telegraphing right now,
but yeah, I'm into it.
Okay, cool. Roll.
Oh Jesus. That's a 5.
You might level up next session.
Mark an XP. He says, he sees you and his face goes white. He's already pretty pale, but like he just like, you can tell, like he just like his eyes widen, his mouth drops a little bit. And he says, Eddie, I didn't know how did you find me?
You weren't hard to track down.
Haven't you already done enough? Haven't you already hurt me enough?
I was figuring we were just getting started, honestly.
Oh, and he kind of like, he begins to cry, and he kind of slinks down to his knees a little bit, and he's like, I can't go through it another time. I really can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Just, he closes his eyes. Just make it quick. Please make it quick.
So this is getting sort of like weirdly looped, but I'm gonna spin my string to ask, what would he say in this situation?
What would Eddie say in this situation?
What would the person I'm passing as in the string I'm spending right now say?
You have a void, an emptiness, and I wish to fill it.
Have a void inside you, deep and aching emptiness. I wish to fill it now.
And he looks up at you, and there are just like tears streaming down his face, and he says, I was so close. Fall and I were so close. We were almost there. He understood me. I was so close to having everything I wanted. I can't believe you would. Why did you do what you did? And he just like kind of crumbles there on the dirt, you know.
Quick question: are Morgan and I in scene for this?
Yeah.
And I'm going to lift the mask up to the top of my head, not like taking it off, but like lifting it up. I don't know what he expected to see, but he sees his own face as I pull him in to kiss him.
Yeah, he'll kiss you. Yeah. And that's when the two of you arrive, and you see, well, it's unclear who you see. We've already like gotten, like, you got a miss on your roll, so I think you guys just see him as Jay. Honestly, you just see Jay kissing Fall.
Do we see the mask on top of his head?
You do.
Look over at Brennan. Well, I guess they won't worry about how much noise we make tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the mask thing. Is that like something you guys do around here? This like a reference I'm not getting?
No idea, but Jay, theater team, all that stuff. Who knows? Maybe he was going to pull a prank on someone out here. That's totally the sort of thing Jay would do.
Yeah, seems pretty normal.
Fall pulls away when you guys start talking, and you can tell he's been crying. And he looks a little embarrassed. He's like, well, you found us out. Just please be cool and don't tell my parents about this, okay?
Who cares, man? Like, I don't give a shit. Do whatever.
Yeah, I think as I like turn around with Fall and see them, like I sort of self-consciously like pull the mask off and sort of hide it behind my back, like maybe you wouldn't have noticed the giant stag skull on my head.
Right.
Yeah, as long as no one's getting hurt, who cares? Are you all right, Fall? And I'm gonna give a hard look at Jay.
Look, things just we're sharing. I think things got a little personal.
Okay. As long as everyone's okay.
Fall says, I'll go get the fire started. And he goes to like grab some lumber and start the fire, campfire. Let's just have a scene with the three of you while he's off building a fire. No one else is around. No Tashelle, no Alex.
Well, he's intense. Did you find Akiko?
Well,
No.
her car's up there.
What, really?
Yeah, that's what's weird. I mean, it's our parents' car. No trace of her around though. I mean, we went and looked like for a while. We were walking around out there.
Oh, what did like Alex say?
Your new friend Fall was asking if we'd seen Alex, and we didn't see him while we're out there.
Wait, so fucking Akiko and Alex? Is there anyone else out here with us?
What, you mean Alex isn't around here?
I mean, I haven't seen him. No, I mean,
You seen Tashelle in a minute?
oh yeah, she and Fall were talking like 15 minutes ago. Wasn't that long?
Okay. But like Alex hasn't been around since like before we left. I mean,
that's just. I'm gonna go see if he's in his cabin.
yeah, he might have gone looking for Kiko as well. He
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
have gone into town because his car's still out there.
Alex wants to tell everyone what to do. I can't imagine him not telling us what he was doing and giving us orders to go look for other people.
I mean, maybe he's in panic mode. Like, he can be a little nervous some of the time. Like, he was clearly stressing out a bit over things not going exactly according to plan when Akiko was like 10 minutes late. Like, he might think this is his fault or something. I don't know.
So I'm going to go check out Alex's cabin. Any sign of him at all?
No, his stuff is there, but you don't see him.
Shout for him. Alex!
Oh, not either.
Tashelle!
Fall says, all right, fire's ready. Maybe we could roast some hot dogs or something, right? Did anybody bring any beer?
Oh yeah, got beer in the pickup. I guess I probably brought like at least one case down already.
Yeah, down there with you.
I look over at Brennan, my hero. Boy Scout, I tell you, Boy Scout, all the way.
Cooler full of Coors Light, guys.
Yeah, which is a true sin in the Pacific Northwest, but
I
whatever.
would think so, yeah. So he's just like, Fall just sitting around the campfire. Like, what do you guys do? Just go around the table, find out what you're all doing. Jay, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go back to
It's
cabin.
dark at this point. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the cabin and like embarrassed, strip off the t-shirt and throw the skull sort of like under his bed there.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna grab Brennan's hoodie just like on the way out.
Okay.
Not put it on, but like, hey, make it cold sort of thing. And
Yeah,
things make it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Brennan?
I'm gonna like crack a beer, sit down on like one of the benches by the fire. If Fall or Morgan are around, I'll be like, so like at what point do we like head into town and like see like what's going on? Because right now we've got like half of the counselors are not here.
And Morgan, where are you at in all this? Are you there? Or?
Yeah, I'm there. I figure Morgan is shotgunning a beer because we're entering into thrill seeking. And she'll probably have a couple and start doing the thing where she jumps over the fire back and forth.
I would shotgun with one with you to begin with, just out of like, I guess like that little element of like peer pressure. I'm like, yeah, I'll shotgun a beer with you. Yeah.
Come on, Iowa, show us how it's done in the Midwest.
So Fall is like, he's like, you guys are there. You're just sitting around the fire, and he's saying, "Man, it's like I kind of thought there'd be more people here tonight. It's kind of weird, right? Just the three of you guys and me."
Yeah, it's really weird that some stranger shows up and you and Tashelle walked off and Tashelle's missing, and who knows where boss man Alex is. Weird.
Why don't we check in with Jay and like maybe bring him along too? But like I say, we head into town, like just check in with somebody, at least place a couple calls. I mean, I've got the number of the organizers of the campsite. Like they'll want to know something is up like this.
Jay, are you there by the fire, or are you just now walking up, or what?
Yeah, I think I'll just now be walking up. I'll be like, I mean, like in the middle of the night.
It's like 8 o'clock. I mean, it's not like it's like super late yet.
Yeah, I mean, I just made the fire, and we're drinking, and it's kind of what's that whole thing, like mothers against drunk driving, like don't be doing that.
Yeah, I've had like 1.5 beers so far, and they're light beers, so I can handle my shit.
Yeah, Morgan's like totally. She's like, it's Coors Light. It's almost beer.
How about mothers against missing teens?
Shove you. That's cute. Yeah, let's go. Let me grab one for the road, though. You're driving, right? Come on, we'll all go.
I don't know. Like, we're just having a good time, and I don't,
Yeah, I mean, it's a great setting out here, but like something's up.
Have you ever done that thing where you surf in the back of the open bed on the pickup? That's fun.
He pulls out a gun from his back pocket.
Oh, shit.
Excuse me?
He says, I was kind of wondering if maybe you guys would want to play a game with me right now.
Yeah,
I want everyone to keep. I want everyone but Morgan to keep your cool.
Yeah,
my reaction. I go.
What's your keep your cool? I want to know what you're scared of happening here, or what you're trying to avoid here. Is that how this one works? I can't remember. Yeah, say what you're afraid of, and then roll plus cold.
I'm afraid of getting shot or bossed around like with this gun. Like that. Like at this point, we're sort of in his power.
Right. Go ahead and roll.
That's a miss.
Morgan XP. We'll follow up with that. And what are you afraid of right now, Jay?
I'm afraid this guy's just gonna turn out to be a crazy creep. Like the whole role-playing emotional thing was a little weird, but if he's just gonna be unstable, this is gonna be a terrible relationship. Jesus, it's a 3.
You're gonna level up in like session 1.
He says, he takes it out. It's like a revolver, and he like opens the chamber. He's like, there's one bullet in the chamber. And he like closes the chamber, spins it. Russian roulette. We each take a turn, passing it around and pulling the trigger.
Sure.
And he's like,
I'll do
he's
it.
already like holding the gun up to his temple.
I'm like, fuck no, dude. Fuck no.
Oh, come on.
Morgan, like, what part of this sounds like a good idea?
And he pulls.
What?
Click.
See? What's the big deal?
And he kind of like says, he looks at you and he says, Jay, I think you should go next.
Come on.
And he slides the gun over and puts it in your hands.
But
Come on.
Morgan,
I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't want to like stop her.
But you have to go after I go.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Morgan, do you put it up to your temple?
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I'm looking away. I'm like, please.
Not even gonna spin it.
Roll a d5. Roll a d10. And if you get a 1 or a 2 on this d10, that's the bullet.
Well, oh, I wonder. That room went to dice roller went to sleep on me.
Oh, keeping us waiting.
Someone want to roll it for me? The roll
yeah,
for my
I've got-
party
I've
is
got
not
the-
reloading.
Yeah, I've got remote reload for me. It's not too long. I'll just click. It should reload if you click on it from the link.
Oh, you want me to roll one?
I would offer, but that's not been going well for me.
I'll roll the D10. We're going in 2 seconds, all right? Bam, here we go. Oh, it's not loading for me. Is it loading? No, I'm getting a server error as well.
Yeah, there's something going on with it. I'll just pull up a new one. It's fine.
I might get some dice out in case that doesn't work.
There we go. It's back.
Oh, we got it?
Yeah, I'll put the link in again. So you guys have it. All right, try that again, Morgan.
It's a very suspenseful, like, roll for your party, like, move right here.
I know. It's like keeping the tension high, right? It's like it's gonna happen.
Oh, no.
Who gets splattered with my blood and brains?
Oh, no.
You put the gun at your temple. Brennan is there, sitting next to you, aghast, like face white. And before you even hear the report, Brennan, just blood and brains splat across your cheek and your forehead.
I'm going to beat the shit out of, what's his name, Fall. Like, I am just going to start whooping his ass.
Well, hold on. Brains and blood just splatter on your face. A little bit gets inside your mouth, just right here.
No.
And that's what we'll call the session for today.
Yep. Camera fades out. And you see my feet drumming on the ground and a cut up to the blood on the face. See you next week, kids.
Exactly. Very good. Okay, cool. If anybody wants to join for Discord debrief, I'll be over there in about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about
Okay.
it.
Sounds awesome.
Do you guys need the
All
Discord
right.
link, or I'll post it.
No, I got it.
I'll post it in Slack too
Yeah.
for anybody who wants to join us. All right. See you guys soon.
Woo.